I have.
Well,
I have
you've
optimism.
got it. You don't have it.
He's a misanthrope.
yeah, but he wouldn't have anything to write about if
He's
things
a
were good.
misanthrope,
So,
I think.
It's not that I'm down on the future of Pittsburgh. In fact, I see diversity in our future. I see Pittsburgh awash in minorities that it's never had before. And when the drugs wear off, we're back to where we were.
I think that's what
before.
Pittsburgh could use as a good wash.
where would you rather live?
We only have a few seconds.
You had job offer in Seattle and interest in New York, as I happen to know, and you stayed.
What they say in psychology, that you can choose to be happy?
You can choose. There is choice.
I'm not, I don't have a bad attitude about Pittsburgh in seriousness.
You just want to take the bad things seriously to wipe in order to get rid of them.
That's right. That's
All right.
That's fair.
You guys were a tremendous panel. Any final words, quickly?
We should
John,
light the bridges. That's my theory.
Light the damn bridges.
That's right.
Make the 9th Street Bridge the Ponte Vecchio of America.
Is that a good thing?
It's a wonderful thing. Make it a destination, not a way to get from one place to the other.
Tony, you want to jump off the bridge, don't you? Are you headed to the bridge?
No, John, I'm going to miss you.
Thanks, man.
All right.
I appreciate that. All right.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, an incredible free-for-all scintillating panel.
Oh, it's all right.
Back in a moment with the next panel. Find out who they are and why here on the final episode of Night Talk.
Wham, bitch.
Tonight.
Back on Night Talk Free for All Night. Let's say hello to the next scintillating Free for All panel on the final episode of Night Talk. The councilman of the future, and hopefully the mayor of the future. You say Pedato, I say Peduto. Councilman Bill Peduto.
Hey, John.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, happy JMD.
By the way, thanks to Councilman, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and talented, incredibly wonderful journalist, you know her, you love her, Jonna Pro of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Swing.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Coxman, the afternoon host of WXDX FM, the teenage heartthrob extraordinaire, Adam Cox.
Swain, I prefer.
Coxswain.
Yeah,
okay.
what
I'm sitting next to the coxswain.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks to Councilman Peduto, it's literally John McIntire Day
really
in
is.
Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Happy John McIntire Day, everybody.
Proclamation.
Which could be one more sign that indeed I am a sign of the apocalypse and the city is doomed. So I ask you guys the same question. Are we doomed? The population is shrinking. We can't get businesses to move here.
No, we're not.
The
doomed at
deficit
all.
is horrible.
No. Because you start out with what we have, and maybe what we need to do is start with a new philosophy of improving what's already here instead of trying to become what we're not. And what we have here is truly incredible because of what was given to us by great wealth. We were the Seattle of our time. There's beautiful architecture. The topography is European. The rivers and the access to waterfront is second to nowhere in this country that doesn't have an ocean. We have great assets to work around. It's just changing that paradigm, like I told you before.
We're broke, and we have no decent transportation.
That's part of changing the philosophy.
We're
though.
cooked.
That's part of changing the
We're
philosophy.
cooked. And I'm a city supporter. You know that. I've stayed here. I've built my life here. But I'm ready to pack up and leave.
Really?
Absolutely.
Alan Cox, you came here from Chicago, and you made quite a nice gig for yourself here.
Yeah, I didn't come directly from Chicago. That's where I grew up. But yeah, I mean, I looked outside my window at 12:01 because I knew today would be the day of the last Night Talk, and the moon had turned to sackcloth. And the seas were as of blood, yeah. So it's, are we doomed? I don't know. Do I care? No, because I'll be gone soon anyway, so I don't care. I'll be going to New York or Seattle or Chicago, and I don't care. But, you know, I will say this.
That's not imminent. You're not announcing news.
I'm not announcing news,
okay.
no. I'm just prolonging the inevitable.
All right.
However, you know, Pittsburgh, for a city with as much riverfront property as it has, really wastes it. That's what I think of.
But do you think that Leeper, if he were here, the government guy who builds the stadiums and does the boondoggles, would argue, look, we're starting to improve it. The North Shore right now, for example, has a lot more cool space by the river than it used to. Is that a legitimate point?
No, that's a legitimate point, but what we're doing is we're looking and saying, hey, what did Baltimore do 10 years ago? What did Cleveland 2 years ago? Instead of going, let's create a new chapter called Pittsburgh, and let's do something different that these places haven't. You know, we have an opportunity between the stadiums not to put up the same type of cookie-cutter architecture that you see anywhere, but maybe a European design that you'd see like in Prague or Budapest. Something that makes it unique. When we talk about...
But the problem is, in order to put up the stadiums, you wiped out neighborhoods. I mean, the thing that makes Pittsburgh Pittsburgh uniquely unique, you take away. I don't mean you personally, Bill. And I happen
He has single-handedly.
My
It's your
staff has
fault.
been working a hell of a lot than I
And
knew.
I happen to be a supporter of the new stadiums, but we take those things away, and then we want to say, well, we want to be unique and different. Well, when you destroy neighborhoods, which we have done, when you destroy neighborhoods, you take away the character of what Pittsburgh is.
Hey, sometimes people got to lose their homes for sports. There's no two ways about it, all right? Sometimes you got to make it happen.
That sounds like a true Cubs fan.
Oh, isn't that horrible? Not to digress, but
I've
no
been-
Cubs, no Red Sox in the World Series.
No, I've been crying like a bitch for 2 days. So, yeah, no, I'm still got a hanky in my pocket over that. But yeah.
Well, here's the perfect example. You know, we're looking right now about the future, and there isn't transportation. There's transportation problems, and there's some policies out there. I think Dr. Friday hit it perfect when he was talking about the Wizard of Oz, because what's really neat
That's
is
just some psychobabble from some of the
No.
acid trips in the 70s.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
No, it's the three critical areas of leadership. It's new ideas, conviction, and guts. And we have a policy and a plan out there to build this Mon-Fayette Expressway, which will tear apart riverfront, tear apart neighborhoods, and build a great bypass away from the Mon Valley so developers can develop in Fayette County woodlands.
And the
nice Walmarts
the
out in Fayette
Pittsburgh
County
building
woodlands.
on that allegory, the Pittsburgh Zoo, in fact, has just gotten a line on 12 dozen flying monkeys.
Keeping in with the Wizard of
I'll
Oz.
get you, my pretty.
I was completely...
Right over Pluto's head.
Well,
He's way more serious than
That was a new idea. It would have been different than the Detroit Zoo.
He's
but
such a good politician.
It's nothing
There's a new idea.
that's something Baltimore hasn't tried. Flying monkeys.
Rick Santorum won't let anybody get the little dog too anymore. That's the
But instead of
state
putting
affairs.
$4 billion into something that every other city around the world is trying to avert or bury or get away with, which is roadway on the waterfront, why not put $4 billion into a great transit system so that you can get anywhere that's already built up and connect all those dots together?
Well, nobody's against that, are they? Or is
Yes,
everybody
because
against that?
the priorities for politicians come down, especially on transportation, to the contractors and the dollars they put into campaigns. That's why everybody will either not take a position or will support a project like Fayette.
What do you think of Dr. Friday's mood theory, that people here have a bad attitude and that contributes greatly to the just pessimism and malaise, if you will?
Yeah.
I think
From
he's
the
right.
yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that's very striking to me about Pittsburgh is it's for a city of this size, people act like it's Salina, Kansas. People have a small town mentality in Pittsburgh, which blows me away because I mean you've got a couple million people in the greater Pittsburgh metropolitan area, and it was like I never crossed the bridge to go to the well, but that mindset really colors kind of people's perceptions on every issue that comes down the pipe.
John, do you agree?
No, I agree. I agree with Alan, and I agree with the good doctor.
Or was that Brabender? Whatever. Whoever had the theory.
I
yeah.
would never agree with Brabender, the evil Republican ad genius. No, I do think Alan's right. I mean, I live up on Mount Washington now. I didn't grow up there, but I live up there. There are people on Mount Washington who actually say, yeah, downtown Pittsburgh, I've been there once. I mean,
And they just moved here from West Virginia.
I mean, can you? It's
Weirton is empty now.
I mean, I go to Squirrel Hill for a sale, for God's sake. So, but that's part of it. But really, I think the two keys really here are transportation. It isn't easy to get around here, and part of it is the topography. So you do need an excellent transportation system. And the bottom line is, you're not getting people downtown until there's housing for people to live in, and stores are open. If you build it, they'll come.
Everybody says housing downtown and maybe a couple grocery stores. Everybody in the world has been saying that for years, so I'm not saying it's all your problem, but why can't we do that? Or why is that nobody's interested?
No. I met with an old boss of mine who's works
Dan
in
Cohen?
Harrisburg. No, Mark Single.
All right.
And he's a lobbyist, and he has
He's
a group.
lieutenant governor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a group that is...
Is he still single?
No, he's married.
All right.
Bill Green back there laughing.
Oh, is he like a tramp?
No, he was not a
All right.
tramp. I know about Bill Scranton, too, so...
All right, good.